beat up till she got up under the, beat her literally till she tried to run up under the car.
Wow.
He was reckless with his hands, you know that, man.
When somebody ever come and say he beat hoes up, he do. He'll beat one of y'all hoes up for me. That's talking about me. I ain't saying that he beat me up. You think I'm gonna be with a man that be beating me up?
Y'all, this Diddy situation keeps getting worse and worse because more insiders are speaking up to reveal just how bad he still is. According to his bodyguard, Diddy is still putting hands on young Miami. Until this very day, the bodyguard stepped out to reveal that Diddy is nowhere close to being a changed person and he still treats his women badly. He came with some pretty hot evidence about how Miami is being treated. And listen, it's absolutely messed up.
I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believed, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Listen when I tell you that everybody seems to be out to expose Diddy. I'm not joking around because it looks like everybody is coming out to expose him. People have been coming out to expose some of the sneakiest and shadiest things that he's done in the past. And listen, is Diddy really that shady? Listen, the wild part about all this is that his shady business isn't just something that's limited to his past because he still hasn't changed, in case you don't catch my drift. You know how Cassie is too Daddy for putting hands on her when they were together. Well, his bodyguard has now come out to spill the tea about how Diddy is allegedly putting hands on young Miami and how she's his latest victim. All the tea is absolutely crazy, but honestly, should it even be that surprising? I mean, judging by the insane allegations that Cassie made in her lawsuit, it doesn't seem like Diddy is the type of person to change his behavior. The allegations are just insane and absolutely heartbreaking, and it just doesn't seem like the type of behavior that someone just randomly changes from. In the lawsuit, Cassie made a lot of disturbing claims about the horrible situations that Diddy put her through, saying he essayed Miss Venter in her own home after she tried to leave him, often been punched, kicked, and stomped on Miss Venter, resulting in bruised, burst lips, black eyes, and bleeding, forced Miss Venter to engage in intimate acts with male SUs while getting off on it, and filming the encounters demanded that Miss Venter to carry his arm in her purse just to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he is, and introduced Miss Venter to a lifestyle of excessive alcohol and substance, required her to procure illicit prescriptions to satisfy his only 19 years old, and he was a fully grown 37-year-old man who basically pressured a teenager into dating him. And if that wasn't bad enough, she was also signed to his Bad Boy record label, which meant that he had also held her career over her head, so it was either she was dating him or else she had no choice but to give in to his demands. And y'all would think that the fact that he put so much pressure on her to date him would make him treat her like a precious jewel, right? Well, very wrong, because the minute they started dating, he started treating her so badly that she still has trauma from it until this very day. He would put hands on her and leave her with bruises all over her face, and then he would shower her with gifts and flowers and then send her to a hotel to recover and heal. The lawsuit also revealed that he didn't even try to hide this from his people around him, saying these beatings were witnessed by Mr. Combs' staff and employees of Bad Boy Entertainment and Mr. Combs' related businesses, but no one dared to speak up against their frightening and ferocious boss. The saddest part about all this is that Cassie did her best to leave Diddy on multiple occasions, but like I said, she was signed to his record label and he pretty much held her entire career in his hands, and every time Cassie tried to leave him and end the relationship, Diddy lost his cool, and he would threaten her to come back to him. He would even go as far as having people who worked in the label and in the industry call Cassie and tell her that she absolutely had to return to Diddy, or he would end her career and nobody in the industry would ever touch her with the 6-foot pole. But that was still not all, because Cassie also revealed how he used to trick her into taking. She revealed that he would manipulate her into taking even though she didn't want to. She also claimed that he was addicted to pain pills, and whenever his legal supply of pain pills ran out, he would force her to help him score more pills. He was also obsessed with making sure that he had 100% control over Cassie, and that he made sure that when she was not in a hotel recovering from her bruises, she was close to him at all times. He made her leave her apartment, and he rented her an apartment close to his house, even rented an apartment for her in New York, so they could be together even when he was in New York. And you'll better know that it has nothing to do with him loving her, or trying to provide for her, or even protect her, because it had everything to do with him wanting control of every single part of her life. Yo Diddy's control over Cassie was so deep that he had access to her medical records when she didn't even have access herself. The court documents said on multiple occasions Mr. Combs had Miss Venture's personal medical records sent directly to his email address, for instance, when Miss Venture began experiencing memory loss, potentially due to excessive drug use and/or head injuries caused by Mr. Combs B, as described below. Her MRI results were provided directly to Mr. Combs. Now, y'all know how I said that Cassie tried to leave Diddy on multiple occasions. Well, on one of those occasions, she started a relationship with rapper Kid Cudi. It's unclear how serious the relationship was, but that they had only been dating for a couple of weeks at most, so it probably wasn't all that serious. However, Diddy found out about the relationship and was so jealous and blinded by rage that he tried to take Casey out. The court document said that Mr. Combs told Miss Venture that he was going to blow up Kid C's car and that he wanted to ensure that Kid C was home with his friends when it happened. Around that time, Kid C's car exploded. In his driveway, the lawsuit talked about a couple of times where he put hands on her, like the time they were on their way home after attending a party with Jay-Z. Mr. Combs Miss Venture repeatedly in an Escalade, including kicking and hitting her. He forced her out the vehicle on 5th Avenue in New York City. She was eventually able to hail a cab and get to her apartment in Manhattan. There's also the time that Cassie spoke to someone in the club without Diddy's permission, and he was furious. It was not serious, just a casual conversation in the club. But Diddy was so mad that they left the club immediately. Mr. Combs Miss Venture pushing her into a corner of the vehicle and stomping on her face. When the car arrived at Mr. Coles's residence, Miss Venture added to run away, but Mr. Combs followed her and proceeded to again kick her in the face. Miss Venture was bleeding profusely and was ushered into Mr. Combs' home, where she began to throw up from the incident. There was also the part where Cassie revealed that Diddy used to force her to sleep with male escorts because he got off on it. He would force her to go on escort websites and hire black men with BBCs, and then force her to partake in what he called freak-offs that were so extreme and lasted for days, even though it was against her will. The law who claimed that Cassie didn't want to partake in the foes, but he would give her drugs until her resistance basically vanished. Mr. Combs always supplied Miss Venture with copious amounts of drugs before and during the FOS. Mr. Venture was given ecstasy, cocaine, GHBC, marriage, and alcohol in excessive amounts during FOS, which allowed her to disassociate. During these horrific encounters, it became commonplace to get IV fluids in the days after ANFO to recover from the excessive substances pushed upon her, and even when he managed to break it off for good and moved out of the apartments that he forced her to live in, he still found her new apartment broke in, and even when she begged and cried. It's just so twisted, and I'm glad that she had the courage to come out to expose Diddy, because he deserved to be exposed and face what he did to her. As you can expect, he did come out to claim that he had never happened and Cassie was just trying to milk him for money and all of that. He said he vehemently denies these offensive and outrageous allegations. Miss Venture is demand a $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about their relationship was unequivocally rejected as blackmailed. Despite withdrawing her initial threat, Miss Venture has now resorted to filing a lawsuit riddled with baseless and outrageous lies aiming to tarnish Mr. Coles's reputation and seeking a payday. However, Diddy ultimately decided to settle out of court, and Cassie released a statement saying, "I have decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control. I want to thank my family and friends and lawyers for their unwavering support." Diddy also released a statement where he said, "We have decided to resolve this matter amicably. I wish Cassie and her family all the best love, but she did manage to start a conversation around this, and we started to realize that evidence of Diddy's bad behavior has been in our faces this entire time." In an old interview, Diddy's former bodyguard revealed how he used to put hands on his then-girlfriend and baby mama Misa Hilton.